as you're talking, it's making me think that as women move through our lives, there are many different, things that we have to, contend with. And then when women are, let's say, leveling up, I'll just use that word, leveling up. Let's say they're moving into $1 million business, they're moving into a senior leadership role. Or they're moving out of corporate into entrepreneurship. And all of these women that we're talking about are successful women. They're intelligent, they've got the personality, they're incredible. What can they do in order to almost adopt the new identity? Because the idea of like what got you here won't necessarily get you there, but how do you shift your mindset and maybe your identity so that you can very easily or more easily move into that new position and continue to be successful?
First off, you have to have a healthy brain. So I'm just going to say, take care of your brain and body.
Okay.
Right. And do the self-care as a part of your business plan.
Love
Part
this.
of this becomes something that you are going to get up and you are going to work out at some point in time during the day. I prefer doing it first thing in the morning just because that's what I prefer doing. Just get it done. I don't care if you do it before you go to bed, right? You just got to do it. Get the exercise in. Neuroscience study says your brain is going to be healthier and you're going to have better cognition and better thinking process if you exercise. Hydration, good sleep. Sleep is number one. This is another thing that falls on women's shoulders a lot of times. If there's kids that need to be taken care of or the house has to get cleaned and you're just like, I'm just going to stay up until the dishes are done. And that means that you're not getting to bed till 11 o'clock. Stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sleep first, because that's going to give you the mental and the cognitive energy the following day. So take care of yourself. You can throw in a medi-pedi every now and then.
Yes.
Do a little pampering every now and then, right? But really take care of the brain and body, because when you do that, now you have a vessel that is going to meet the challenge, or that's going to meet and be able to take advantage of those opportunities when they are presented.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the first thing. And then really visualize, what does this look like for me?
Mm.
And clearly lay out in your brain, visualize yourself taking all of those steps. They've done brain scans on high performing athletes and high performing executives. And something that they have found is that as they've studied them and then scanned them, individuals who are high performing, there's certain commonalities.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those commonalities is clear cut visualization.
Mm-hmm.
And what I say by that is total embracing the visualization practice. In other words, okay, I can close my eyes and I can see myself standing on a stage in front of, 10,000 people, and they're all laughing and clapping, right? I can visualize that. Okay, I did my visualization. No, these athletes, we're talking about Michael Phelps. We're talking about LeBron James. We're talking about people that have hit the top pinnacle. They don't just do that. They deeply embrace it. They feel it in their muscles. They smell it. They embrace every single sense. They even go so far as to think about what are some of the challenges, and I use that word because this is what they would do, right? What are some of the obstacles that might get in my way as I'm trying to make that 3-point throw, or as I'm trying to swim faster than anybody else? Like, what are the things, what happens if I don't push off from the starting point fast enough, or what happens if this other player jumps in front of me? And they visualize themselves moving around those scenarios.
Yeah.
And successfully getting past them. So this is what we have to do, is that same thing. How am I going to handle this conversation when this person comes up to me and says, I don't think you're a right fit? What am I going to say? How am I going to navigate that in a positive way? And really take the time to visualize every facet, embrace the touch, the feel, every sense that your body has, embrace it. It makes a difference on the brain scans, because what they have found is when you do visualization this way, your brain will scan the same as when you're actually doing that activity.
My gosh.
Is that
Right.
fascinating?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And I also have heard that this is why sometimes we are operating in a state of stress with the high cortisol because while we're not actually in the stressful situation, we've put our brains there. And so we're harming ourselves. Right. Yeah, this is fascinating because the speaking on stage and you can visualize yourself there. That is like you're saying, that's amazing, right? That's one aspect. It's like that's the highlight reel. All of the
Mhm.
things that it takes to get there also need to be visualized so that
Absolutely.
that speaking on stage in front of 10,000 people, it's almost in your brain like a logical progression to that
Yes.
point. Because otherwise, like, how
Yes.
do you go from sitting in this chair to speaking in front of 10,000 people if you don't do anything or if you don't even know
Exactly.
how to get there?
Exactly. Exactly. You have to visualize all the steps along the way.
Yeah.
I believe that's one of the reasons why a lot of entrepreneurial women are not as successful in the business as they potentially could be, or they stop short of those final is they don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
They have the big picture of what it is that they want to accomplish, and that vision is amazing.
Yeah.
But they don't stop and ask themselves, how do I get from point A to point B? What are all of the mile markers that I have to hit? What do I need to learn? Who do I need to talk to? Who do I need to be introduced to? What podcasts do I need to listen to that are going to give me that advice or give me those steps and expand my knowledge as to how do I get in front of a decision maker?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's important. You have to allow your brain to be trained on those. And sometimes it means controlling our big, beautiful vision and going, okay, wait a minute, I gotta figure out the steps it's gonna take to get there.